My name is Erroll Williams, and I'm running for the Assessor's office.
All right, wonderful. Erroll, thank you very much. We, on behalf of NewOrleansBlack.com, appreciate you taking time out to meet with us. We're just going to ask some very simple questions, and you can take them in whatever direction you're comfortable with, and I'll just kind of play off of those questions. All right, so first of all, Erroll Williams. Who is Erroll Williams, and tell us why you're running?
Well, Erroll Williams is a candidate for the Assessor's office. For the past 25 years, I've served the citizens as Assessor, and for the past 31 years, I've been a government employee as Director of Finance for the City of New Orleans and Chief Administrative Officer for the City of New Orleans. Prior to that, I was the outside auditor. I did the audit of the City of New Orleans 3 years prior to Dutch Moriel becoming mayor, when Moon Lander was mayor. Okay, so my experience and understanding of city government far overshadows any other candidate in this race.
Wow. Now, we're moving from multiple assessor positions to the one assessor. Tell us what your thoughts are about that, and how can you talk a little bit about your leadership style.
Well, I'm a hands-on guy. Most people that know me, I work 9 to 5. I actually work from 8 to 7 every day. Okay, but my style is one of those where I'm involved in everything that goes on in the office. I'm probably what you would say, the guy that's behind the scenes, that's the agent of change. Anything that has changed in the Assessor's office over the past 20 years, I've been the guy who was there every day trying to make sure that it happens. I believe that my mission is fair and equitable assessment practices. My 31 years of government is the evidence that I am, what I preach. Okay, fair and equitable assessment, that's what I try and get accomplished.
So there's two things I want to elaborate on. Number one was equitable, because this community wants leadership that makes sure everybody is included and that it's fair. Talk a little bit about your practices, particularly as becoming one assessor, having that much control of the city and property values.
Thank you. It's a simple approach. I subscribe to fair and equitable assessment practice by utilizing mass appraisal theory. It's different from independent fee appraisal. An independent fee guy comes in your house. Tax assessors never go into your house. What we do is we try and break the areas down by neighborhoods, capture sales based upon those neighborhoods, and then take the unit value, which is the cost per square foot for that area, and apply the assessments across the board to each property based upon its size, physical condition, and age. That usually results in a fair and equitable assessment for everyone. The objective is to fairly distribute a tax burden to every taxpayer based upon their property in those neighborhoods.
It sounds like you've already been a part of a lot of successful changes in your office. Talk to, particularly again, this one assessor piece, and what you would do from a community engagement standpoint, because now, as I best understand the process, depending on what community, neighborhood you live in, you won't have a specific assessor for your area. Now there's just one who will control this office. So I think the community might feel a little bit kind of taken aback. They don't know their assessor anymore. Talk to what you would do from a community engagement standpoint.
Well, simply, for the past 24 years, I've represented half of the city's population, and I've broken down my district, the 3rd Municipal District, down by each neighborhood, by subdivisions, and I try to get to know the people that run the neighborhood associations to try and solicit their input. Once I receive their input about what they think things should be, we try and be accommodating. Our internet website that we have launched 2 years ago is about to change to a new website, which will be more responsive, which is from input from those citizens who represent the neighborhood organization. You will be able to see a photograph of every property, the footprint of every property, aerial photo, will be able to zoom into those properties, as well as what that property sold for. Not recently, but over the last 2 or 3 owners. That's the objective, to try and make sure that what people see, the transparency that they want in government, that it comes as a result of the assessor's office. That way nobody can say that this guy has a better deal than me versus the neighbor. If you got the same house, you should have the same assessment. That's my focus, that's my mission.
Wow, very good. In your position, it's a little bit different in question number 7 about minority set-asides and things that would address the African American community specifically. But again, we represent about 60,000 African Americans. Talk to what that means to you as being an assessor. What would you do? What can the African American community depend on?
Well, the African American community can understand that when I solicit the support of appraisers, realtors, accountants, that I will give them the same opportunity that everybody else gets to compete for those jobs. Having been the Director of Finance, guy responsible for purchase for the City of New Orleans for 6.5 years, I understand what the set-aside program is all about. It's supposed to level the playing field. The only thing I'd say that most people who get set-aside programs and are successful with it, you have to diversify into other areas because government's not the only agency out there. The corporate America does have set-aside programs, and they try to induce minorities from all walks of life to be able to try and share in that economic engine that drives our city.
That's very good. Last question I have comes from one of our Facebook friends. We asked them to pitch some questions. Number 5 is from Robert Childs. What will you do to bring more business to New Orleans, medium to large size businesses? Or how you being our assessor, how does that help or benefit our city?
Well, I believe that as assessor, you must work with every business coming to New Orleans. Recently, there was a decision made to try and select a business for the Gentile Wood Shopping Center. In that effort, while we were in the elementary stages, I suggested that they also consider throwing in something that a lot of people don't know exists called a Restoration Tax Abatement Program. That program allows people to freeze the investment for 5 years to encourage them to come to our city. Over the years, when Pick and Save came to New Orleans, I was there trying to make sure, my next mission is to try and make sure that the city does not falter on the effort to try and bring back the hospital in East New Orleans so that we will be able to have more business opportunity. The long-term objective is we have to get more jobs in the community, okay, and make sure that the business come in and we're business friendly. Property taxes are a function of every government where you go. So, and if you read recently, there is a program out there that was a research study done recently. It says that New Orleans tax base and taxing structure is not way out of line with the rest of the real world. Actually, we're lower than what they expected.
Interesting. Well, look, this has been a great interview. I'm going to give you an opportunity to look into the camera, speak to those 60,000 individuals out there, and ask them for your vote.
Over the past 25 years, I've had the opportunity to serve you as your tax assessor. As we move to one single assessor, when you look at the experience, 25 years in the government, 31 years in government, you will also see that Erroll Williams is a fair guy, a guy who works hard and has a track record of performance. The changes in the assessor's office that you see are principally my mission to try and make sure that we become more responsive to you. When we go to one tax assessor, I only have one mission. That's to serve you, not special interest, just to be an independent assessor who has one objective, trying to make sure that the assessments are as fair as possible so everybody pays their fair share.
Good. And you are, and your number is?
My name is Erroll Williams, and my number is number 15 on the ballot.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me.